Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Let's Learn with Lizzie. In English, we often need to repeat or report what someone has said. But when we do that, we do not always use the exact same words. Instead, we change the sentence slightly while keeping the original meaning the same. This process is called reported speech, also known as direct and indirect speech. It is an important part of grammar because it tests your understanding of tenses, pronouns, sentence structure, and different types of sentences like statements, questions, commands, and exclamations. This topic is very scoring in exams also, but only if you understand the rules clearly and apply them step by step. So today we will learn the complete concept of reported speech in a very simplified and systematic way. Let us begin. First, what is reported speech? Reported speech means reporting someone's words. There are two types of speeches in which we are having the first thing, that is direct speech, where we use the exact words using the quotation marks of the speaker. For example, she said, I am tired. On the other hand, we have indirect speech where we report the meaning without the quotation marks. She said that she was tired. In indirect speech, we do not copy the exact words. We transform them, and that transformation follows certain rules. Let us understand the structure of direct speech. She said, comma, in double quotation, I am happy. There are three parts in this sentence. The reporting verb is said, the reporting clause is she said, and reported clause is I am happy within double quotation. In exams, your main work is to change the reported clause correctly. That is, I am happy has to be changed. The reporting clause mostly remains the same with slight verb changes according to the requirement. Now, this is very important. Whenever you see a direct speech question in the exam, follow these steps. First, remove quotation marks, then add appropriate conjunctions, then change the pronouns, change tenses if required, change the time or place words, those are the adverbs, adjust the punctuation marks, and finally change reporting verb if needed. If you follow this order, you will not make mistakes. Now listen very carefully. Pronoun change is the number one mistake students tend to make whenever they are converting the direct speech into indirect speech. So there are three golden rules that you need to remember when you are changing the pronouns. Rule number one, first person changes according to the subject. She said, I am tired. So I becomes she. So she said that she was tired. So the first rule is first person changes according to the subject. So identify the subject and who that first person is. Then comes rule number two. Second person changes according to the object of the sentence. You changes according to the object. So here he said to me, you are later. Who is this you? It's me. So I will be converting that into the first person. He told me that I was late because the sentence is said to me. So I become the subject of the reported clause, not the reporting clause. And then comes rule number three, that is third person does not change. They remain the same. He said they are playing. He said that they were playing. There's no change in this. So let me once again repeat all the three golden rules of changing the pronoun in the reported speech. First person changes according to the subject, second person changes according to the object, and third person does not change at all. So before changing anything, identify subject and the object in the sentence. This will save your marks. Now comes the backshift rule. That is, if the reporting verb is in the past, like said, told, asked, the tenses usually changes. So it's a very simple rule that I will teach you is present will be converted into past and the past will be converted into past perfect. So, no, you don't have to memorize the whole table. I know people might be telling you to memorize the whole table. Just understand the one common trick, that is The present will be converted into past and the past will be converted into past perfect. That's it. You don't have to change it in certain exceptional areas that I will be teaching in the upcoming slides. So whenever you're having the modal auxiliary verbs in your reported clause, you're going to convert it according to the requirement. That is, the present will be converted into past, right? So will be converted into would, shall will become should, can will become could, may will become might, and must has to become had to. I hope this is very simple for you all. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment section so that I can make a very detailed video for easy understanding. But I think that this is the most simplified way of teaching you about the tense, this conversion in the reporting speech. Now comes the example of the tense changes. She said, I work hard. So here the reported clause is having present tense. I will be converting that into past tense. She said that she worked hard. Mm, So now let me give you some examples of tense change in the reported speech. She said, I work hard. So the reported clause I work hard given at the double quotation is in the present tense. So I have to convert it into past tense. She said that she worked hard. Next example, he said, I have finished. Again, I have finished is in present tense. So I will be converting it into past tense. He said that he had finished. And finally, she said, I will come, which is having will as the verb that will be converted into past form would. She said that she would come. But wait a minute. This is very important that you have to remember. Tense does not always change. No tense changes when the reporting verb is in present tense. Why? Because you have to maintain the tense consistency of the sentence. The reporting verb is in present tense. He says, I am busy. There is no change. Why? Because he says it. He says it always. He says that he is always busy like that. And next situation is when you're talking about universal truth, like the teacher said, the sun rises in the east. You cannot say the teacher said that the sun rose in the east, which means yesterday it rose in the east and today it is rising in the west. That becomes totally wrong. So remember that all the universal truths, habitual actions, or true facts and informations cannot be changed even if the reporting verb is in past. Now moving on to the next rule of the conversion that you have to change in the reported speech is the adverbs, the time and place that you have to change. So I have given you a table where there are certain time words like now will be converted into then, today will be converted into that day, yesterday will be converted into the previous day, tomorrow becomes the next day, tonight becomes that night, here will become there, this will become that, these will become those, ago will become before. Students often forget this and lose marks very easily. Always scan for the time words in your reported speeches so that you don't miss out any point. Now let's move on to the types of sentences. So first comes the statements. Those are the assertive sentences. In assertive sentences, use said that, or if it is said to, change it into told. Use that as an optional one, which is very safe when you are writing for a board exam. But if you are using it in your day-to-day conversation, that is not so important. For example, he said, I am ready. So that will be converted into the reported speech. He said that he was ready. So I'm putting that and I'm changing the pronoun and I'm changing the tenses over here. For the next example, he said to me, you are wrong becomes, he told me that I was wrong. Simple and direct. Now comes the second form of sentence, that is interrogative sentence. Simply yes or no question. For yes or no questions, what you're going to do is instead of that, you're going to use if or whether. This is a very important rule that you need to mention. Remove the question marks when you are converting the question into a reported speech. Change the question form to the statement form and use asked or inquired, the words which are interrogative words. For example, she said, are you happy? That will be converted into she asked if I was happy. So here I'm not putting that. Instead of that, I'm putting if. For yes or no questions, you're going to use if for whether instead of that. You're going to remove the question mark and change question forms to statement form. For example, she said, "Are you happy?" That becomes she asked if I was happy. Do not keep "are I happy?" That is a wrong form. You need to convert the question into a statement. So the subject comes first and then the verb comes. It is like converting the question into sentence. I hope it is very clear to you all. Now let's move on to the next part of interrogator sentence, which you need to make a note of it. Why? Because it is like in English, for all the rules, we are having certain exceptions. Just like that, in interrogative sentence conversion, you're not going to use if or whether for all interrogative sentences. This. Why? Because for WH questions, keep the question word. You're not going to use if or whether. Instead of that, you're directly going to keep the WH question word. Where, why, how, when remains the same, but remove question structure alone. For example, he said, "Where do you live?" becomes he asked where I lived. Very simple. No question mark and no do form. Nothing is required. Why? Because the question is converted into sentence without using if or whether. But if you're not having WH question words, you have to use if or whether. I know it might be a little tricky, but with practice, you may learn it very nicely. Then comes the imperative sentence, which gives orders, requests, advices. For commands, use told, ordered, commanded. The structure is to plus verb. To put it in a very simple words, the imperative sentences will be converted into infinitive form of sentence. He said, "Open the door." Here it is going to be converted using to plus verb form. He told me to open the door. And for negative command, you're going to use not to plus verb. She said, "Do not shout." She said me not to shout. I hope it's very simple. Let me repeat it once again. The imperative sentence will be converted into infinitive form, and the structure is for positive imperative to plus verb, and for negative imperative not to plus verb. And you need to just remember the basic sentence structure when you're converting the different types of sentences into statement. Because no matter what type of sentence it is, at the end of the day, when you're converting it into a reported speech, it will be converted into a statement. Whether it is a question or a command, it becomes a statement. So you have to follow the sentence structure, which is having a subject, verb, and object, or subject, verb, and complement. So make sure you're following this rule. If the sentence shows request, use requested, begged, pleaded. She said, "Please help me." That becomes she requested me to help her. The same rule is there, to plus verb. Just we are changing the reporting verbs in order to make it more appropriate. Moving on to exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory sentences express strong emotions like remove what, oh, alas, oh, wow. Use phrases like exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with sorrow, with surprise, or with anger. For example, she said, "What a beautiful scene." You're not going to say, "What a beautiful scene." Instead of that, you're going to say, "She exclaimed with joy that it was a beautiful scene." So you're not going to use the exclamatory words. You're just going to change it according to the requirement. Then comes the optative sentences, which are nothing but the wishes, prayers, and blessings. For these types of sentences, you are going to use the reporting verbs as wished, prayed, blessed, cursed. For example, he said, "May you succeed." He wished that I might succeed. Next example, she said, "May God bless you." She prayed that God might bless me. So these are very important things. that you need to remember in board exams. In conditional sentences, the structure remains the same, only the tense changes. For example, he said, if I work hard, I will pass. So there's not going to be any change in the structure of the if clauses, that is conditional sentences. We are just going to change the tenses and the other required areas. So he said that if he worked hard, he would pass. The structure remains the same. Very straightforward. Now let me give you some high scoring strategies to remember in order to convert the direct speech into indirect speech. Identify the sentence type first, then check what is the reporting verb of the tense. And then apply the pronoun rule, the three golden rule. First person changes according to the subject, second person changes according to the object, and third person there is no change. Apply the tense rule. Then change the time words, those are the adverb of time and place. Remove the question marks if it is an interrogative sentence, and use the proper reporting verb according to the situation. So what are the common errors that we tend to make? Let's quickly see that. First thing what you tend to do is you forget pronoun change or keeping question structure or missing if or whether or using the wrong modal change, not changing the time words or forgetting not in negative commands. So these are the common mistakes areas. Make sure that you are not doing these mistakes. So let me once again show you the high scoring strategies. Follow these strategies in order to score good marks, and make sure you are looking at each and every single part of the reported speech. What examiners look for in the exams when you're converting the reported speech, that is when you're converting the direct speech into indirect speech. First comes the correct tense, correct pronoun, proper reporting verb, correct structure, and no punctuation error and no quotation marks, because remember, in direct speech you're going to use the exact words of the speaker using the double quotation, but in indirect speech you're going to change the structure and remove the quotation marks. Let's have a quick revision. Direct speech means exact words and indirect speech means reported meaning. So let's have a quick revision of whatever we learned in this video. So first, direct speech, you're going to use the exact words in the double quotation. Indirect speech is reporting meaning. You're going to change the structure but not the meaning of the sentence. You're going to change the pronoun, tenses, time words, and reporting verb. What you have to identify is the sentence type, statements, question, command, exclamation, wish, and suggestion. According to the requirement, you have to change, and for that, you have to follow the rules that I have mentioned in the verb. Reporting speech is not at all difficult, it is just a systematic. So, follow the steps and practice regularly, and this grammar question will become your highest scoring question in the paper. So, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next lesson. So, thank you for watching this video till the end. If you felt like this video was helpful, kindly hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and see you soon in the upcoming video. Bye bye.